Welcome on back, folks. It is Valorant Challengers. It is the grand finals here for Open number 1. And Envy and Immortals, things are finally heating up for the boys of Immortals, because now they're up 2-1 against one of the best teams in North America once again. They did it yesterday. Can they do it again? My name is Upmind, joined here by Sully. We're looking forward over towards Ascent, but what a battle we just had in Bind.
I mean, this entire series has just been a battle back and forth, both teams taking each other's map picks, and now we're here on the map pick of Immortals. Now, it was the same thing on Icebox, where Envy ended up taking Icebox, and now are we going to see Envy take Ascent here? That's the major question, but let's recap Bind real quick. It was dominance from Immortals from the get-go. They ended the half, I think, 9-3, and I mean, everybody was popping up. It was crazy to say that Nature was one of the best fraggers in this map. I mean, he was playing Sentinel, and he started to show up, and he showed up massively. Envy had a little bit of ground back, but the 3 rounds that they got here on their defensive side started to fall away, and Immortals got right back to business. So now moving into Ascent, Gus, this is the map that could send us to a 5th. Envy looked good throughout the entire VCT, but same thing with Immortals.
Oh, absolutely. Still on Ascent, this Immortals team has been perfect thus far. They played it 5 times. They've won it all 5 times. Immortals, they're still looking for that dominance on Ascent, but still, this has been one of Envy's best maps. You thought that they were good on splits. Ascent is really where this team shines. It's the map that they've played the absolute most in the last few months. They're 13-3 historically, and in this tournament, they're 4-0. So over towards Ascent, now that they start up on the defensive side of all things, I'm still expecting Envy to take this to a 5th.
Yeah, this map in particular, though, I think, well, Envy, the stat line boasts that they are arguably one of the best in North America on Ascent. I mean, we said that about Split, and then Immortals took it. So what am I saying here? Well, Envy, they have tiny, I would say tiny gaps in their impenetrable defense, and we saw that there on Split, and we see that here on Ascent. We mentioned that they are currently 4-0, but most of the games that they had were super close. Their only dominant victory so far was against Sentinels 13-5, but then against Equinox, against Take Flight in a round of 64, that went to double overtime. So Envy, they have tiny gaps in their armor that can be exploited. And again, we saw that on Split. We saw that on Bind. Immortals, this is their map pick and their time to shine.
Waiting up to see what would actually be of Ascent's pool, because now we finally get into the agent select, Sully.
Oh yeah, already Immortal sticking back Nature on the Killjoy. I love Nature on both Killjoy and Cypher. I mean, he looks so good on both of them, but on the other side of Envy, we've seen the Breach in the past. I'm not sure if we've seen it too often for Envy. I mean, obviously, Crashy's not picking up the Sky is going to be a little bit peculiar, because I think that at least they've been trying to incorporate it. We said from the get-go, always that Sky, but this is the one map that they've run Sova. But this is the first time I think we've seen Envy run Breach. They haven't done it in the past.
The first ever time, so,
yeah. I mean, Breach has started to come back, I feel like, into the meta of North America. He's become so much more versatile, and I feel like that's due in part to the Korean scene, the Korean now involvement with Sunny and Autumn as the coach of Cloud9. So Envy, again, experimenting, but at this level and at this point in the grand finals, it's a risk, and I'm curious to see if it's going to pay off.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off. Going into this one, of course, with a switched up agent pool. Again, we still focus on what has been an experimental time for both of these teams, and we haven't seen that too much in the sets. We keep saying that, oh, this one's for seeding. This one doesn't exactly matter too much. It's a full BO5. But that's exactly it, right? These two teams, they still have a whole lot to prove, and it doesn't look like Immortals is really letting off the gas pedal. They're playing up with almost exactly the same composition that they've been playing with throughout this tournament. They have a 100% win rate on it, of course, playing up with the Killjoy rather than the Cypher. Now you go over towards the other side with the Breach being pulled in. Still no stats whatsoever for the NV team with this character, purely because Breach is completely new on this map, as you mentioned, Sully, and we're opening things up here on Ascent with Immortals in a little bit of an A split.
Yeah, they're going for early aggression. They cleared up the mid W's with that recon vault. Now they want control. Huge paranoia is going back and forth, and it's gangsta through the smoke, not chemicals whatsoever. And now they've got basic control of this site. Immortals instantly take over, but there's one person, Mummy underneath, and Crashy's in the heavens. Where is this thing gonna go? Players full blinded by the Breach flashpoint, and those are huge kills.
Oh
as
my.
Food comes in big, he's got 2, and it's Gank's on low HP, and Food cleans it up. First round on the board, at least for the side of Envy, and it looks shaky. You talked about the A splits, but Envy deal with it accordingly.
It's a massive start for NV. I mean, we already see that breach come into effect. Everyone on site still scrambling to get into post-plant positions freshly off the spike. And those flashes coming in strong. That cat hold coming in strong. Immortals, they were discombobulated at every turn on that take.
Yeah, it's so difficult for Immortals. I mean, as soon as those flashes go in, that's kind of the X factor. In a situation where Food is maybe playing a Phoenix or a Raze or a Reyna, is that you don't expect that extra utility. Once that Paranoia is wasted, you think, well, there's going to be no more flashes. However, 3 flashes for Food here in this round, and he had a couple in the last, I think, 2. So Immortals caught off guard. The huge play. It's a single flash that gets that one going. And Immortals, they're going to have to work with a lesser gun. Early fault line, and Mame's got control, but a Paranoia back allows Chemicals back into the fight.
And goes the actual take, though. There's 2 players on site. This is at least a stellar, in theory, a stellar take for the boys of NV. But Mame is here for the insurance, but with full stairs control and nobody watching the outside courtyard area, NV, they're left absolutely exposed. Now it's a 2-on-3. The boys of NV, and they still want to take it relatively slow. They still used a whole lot of util early on in the round, but I still think that they have the 2 fresh smokes that could still definitely help them out on the take. And the Paranoia is here to help. One in the backside. Oh, fully blind, but there you go. Chemicals and JC Stanny looking outside the smoke. The players walk on through. That's going to be Immortals winning back on the force buy.
Surprise for at least I think the side of Envy. They did not expect a take like that, and Immortals, they counter-aggress that breach flash with a Paranoia of their own, and then it gets so dicey. Great positioning as well on that retake, ensuring that not more than one person is going to get caught by that Paranoia, and they play the little off angles, works out swell for them. So Immortals, they chime back the second round conversion. Now Envy, with a very light buy, they're going to actually force into this one, but I say light in the sense that the guns aren't necessarily going to be in their favor, but we saw what Singers could do for Immortals. Let's see if they can do the same thing here for Envy. Slow take towards mid, at least for Immortals. Early control by Chemicals towards Cats. And a jump spot. JC Stani gets the info that one's pushed up A main, but same thing for Crashies, and it's a 4-site stack here on B. But again, Immortals playing slow with that control. Envy aren't going to get anything for free.
No info on B either. Once Immortals gets just an inkling on what's going on in this area, you can know for damn sure that that lurk on A is about to explode. Really, the 2 players here, it's Chemicals still staying around the mid side. In goes an owl jump, but they're not able to catch too much. Instead, now Envy, they feel a false sense of pressure in a sense. There's one player in that cage, he backs out a little bit, but wow, Chemicals loses out the all-important battle in Cat. Crashy still gets themselves an opening. Still 1 in A main, about to make their pop. That's a great smoke. That's gonna allow everyone to make their way through. Still, that recon bolt could get a whole lot of spots, but shot up through it. Gets it down. There's nobody back on A to try to help out. Immortals, they have a free plant.
Yeah, it could be at least Envy trying to attempt the retake. They're going to flush through Garden. They're going to try to isolate these fights, but Shot Up is here to counter it. And ooh, Shot Up goes down. So there's an opening. There's 1 player left, and it's Gangsta with an Ares. He can mow them down. First, there's an easy kill. Knows there's going to be a second. And now Envy teetered back to a 3v3. Advantage gone, and it's placed back for Immortals.
Nature, he's just gonna set the smoke. Very cheeky, but it's still 2-on-2. Nature absolutely needs to pop here, but nothing's gonna happen for him. Gangsta now 1v2, has nothing but an Ares. That spike, it's still getting diffused. They're just going in. Oh, wow! So clean from Gangsta through the smoke, can't get anything! Mame sticks it, and Gangsta almost with the 1v2 that really I didn't expect at all. It makes it possible, but Envy still win the round back. We're trading rounds now, Sully.
Dude, Envy back in 4th they go. Again, the Stingers. It's the theme of this game is that whoever's got the lesser buy is always going to be a threat. And both teams so menacing. Now, Immortals, they manage their economy well enough where that forced buy where they had in the second round, they keep most of the guns. So now they can go into this one with a very strong buy, and they match up almost exactly with the side of Envy, if not a little better. They're working with 2 SMGs. They've got 1 Ares and 4 rifles. Immortals, Mame is the one actually using it. Early spray, doesn't get much from it, and Immortals, the dogs are out and they're playing the default, but we will see them probably later group up again to play that trade potential.
Still, it's a hard default for the boys of Immortals, but of course with Spike being down over on B, it's more centered in that area.
Oh, Caboose.
With the turret there in a beautiful position, but speaking of beautiful positions, that was Caboose with a massive paranoia, but JC Stanny essentially with a perfectly timed swing, gonna be able to get that first one. So JC Stanny still getting another one. Food takes one back on 2. JC, but even then, Immortals, they take that spike all the way from the B site and going to be able to plant within seconds. Now Envy with a 3v4 retake.
Keep in mind that Food is a rolling thunder, and he's got almost full util except for 2 flashpoints. This retake is so viable here in Immortals. They back away into A main. He can huddle them all up. This rolling thunder could come in clutch, but I think it's pointed the wrong way, Ghost. If they're gonna try it, they're gonna get it completely wrong.
Oh. Completely wrong indeed, and they still have the Sova for the recon bolt just to get that information through the smoke. And not only that, but Nano Swarm gets popped too. Smoke up in the back line. Food, he has to force out the situation, trying to make his way through. The fault line's not gonna hit anyone. None of this breach util is hitting, and now it's just down to a singular person. It's Mummy in the back lines. That's incredibly well played by Immortals, completely abandoning the site, essentially playing retake.
Yeah, it was a risk as well, but they played it with the fact that their Envy were gonna have no info with that rolling thunder, and Food, like we said, gets it completely wrong. He maybe triggers it a little too early, despite the info that Mummy ends up getting with that early peak. So Envy, unfortunately, a rolling thunder put to waste. However, ults are ready. Crashy's only 1 away, but I think this round is gonna be a little bit difficult to charge them up. So Envy, at least going forward, they only have pistols, no slingers this time around. Shouldn't be too much of a threat to Immortals. They're gonna be looking to at least capitalize on these 3 kills, and Chemicals already off the bat is gonna take the head off of Mummy.
And Sean up still looking for another one in CAD crashies. A couple of jump peaks. We see it all the time, but it never gets too old, right? It's so goofy to see a player just strafing around the corner like that. It's a full coverage, but Chemicals, man, there you go, 4 kill. 4K thus far for Chemicals, and essentially it's just a 1-2-3 combo. Just clearing at every angle and can. Again, as goofy as this round has been, Immortals, they're still looking very strong, with Nature getting the last kill in the end of things. Yeah, Envy, again, they walk into the round with just an eco. Not looking for all too much other than some damage and potentially a cheesy round. But now Immortals going forward with at least the setup that we saw before. I don't think we're going to see something too deep off the strat book, like a full A retake or something of the sorts. But even then, they're starting off this round still split up again.
Yeah, Envy are gonna. I'd hope they start to battle for more control, right? We've already seen Crashies get very aggressive towards A main. He's got a Hunter's Fury to at least help deny a spike plane if need. But here's an early peek from Mummy. He's gonna go with the op. They're gonna know. Great recon bolt reveals Mummy the notes down to Immortals. He will concede the position. He's even tagged down a whole bunch. 59 HP left for him. JC Stani, who sits in the opposing smoke, and Shot Up is going to abuse this space towards mid. They're keeping, again, Envy on their toes. They group up once more. JC Stani playing the solo lurk won't be revealed, but here's the engagement. There's a trade frag ready, though, as Nature makes the rotation, and Caboose has taken down JC Stani, and there's Nature with that trade back, and Chemicals now on the site.
Well, that's huge for Chemicals because he almost literally walks into the crosshair of Food back into courtyard. So, I mean, Envy, that round could have gone completely differently, but Immortals, they overwhelm and they take things back. But however, in a 2-on-4, with these players and their economy looking so restricted, they have to go for a savior. A couple of exits could still help them out, at least in the long run, but doesn't look like they're going to be approaching, especially Mummy away, FNS in a good position. Immortals, they're still going to be checking their corners anyways, but that's a 4th round for them.
Yeah, I mean, FNS could get a kill here onto at least Nature. Turret gives him no info. So, Immortals, 4th round, nice and easy. Great execution. Again, that trade potential always there. Envy caught completely off guard. Now, Immortals, here's a chance, actually. Going back to this fact. I thought of a later note, or a later date, then to the Odin. Love to see it. Now, Envy, though.
Yeah.
Take 2 players away. Not going to hurt Immortals too much, especially because Blade Storm available for Chemicals. He can pick an op up if he wants to. So Immortals economy, perfect in a sense. Now Envy, though, they're the ones that definitely going to have the rough buy. And with the 2 players staying alive, they get almost no credits. Only a K to their name to reinvest into the shields.
Yeah, exactly. 1K is just about the route that these players should be going for. Of course, upgraded pistols. And really any util, especially if you're talking about Caboose and Crashies. With the recent nerf, though, of Omen, It does put at least Caboose in a little bit of a tricky spot because he still wants, you know, the full kit, but he's going to spend just about 1.5 to 1.6k. So, although Envy, they do have the util to use, Immortals is still making this tough as they quickly make their way on site. Food, however, holding things back. The 100 fear for Crash. He's not exactly hitting. Finally gets up one. JC standing in the front lines, able to get another. That's a second kill for Food. And Immortals, they run into a brick wall and through the smoke, Mame takes down Gangsta. You couldn't see it more unfortunate for Immortals. But man, oh man, they make the hold worth it, but now in comes Nature. Now 1v4. Yeah, no, this one's done. 2 HP left. He needed to keep it clean onto Caboose, but wow, oh wow, who would have known? Team Envy off the Eco and 2 hero rifles. Oh, they still hold off Immortals, don't they?
Dude, it's crazy to think that Immortals in that round specifically, they're the ones, that's the one round they decide, we're not going to run a default. We're just going to go straight into the B site. And it's the round that Envy have an operator. It's the round they have an Ares waiting for them alongside the hero rifle. Immortals caught in the trap. A fly to the Venus flytrap, and Immortals, they're going to pay dearly for it. 0 credits for Gangsta and JC Stani. They're running low now on economy. And Envy, a huge round for them because they keep so many players alive now. And JC Stani, he will be spotted out, but he can't be flushed out. But there's a beat. Mame takes his life. And Envy, this is what you love to see. Momentum on their side, and they're feeling confident now after that round win.
Oh, certainly so. I mean, Envy before, what really picked up their momentum, and the third map was a tactical pause, but there's nothing better than just natural built momentum. But now Envy, at least in this round, still split up in a 3-2 format with one really looking out for a spawn rotate or a spawn flank. Still nothing of the sort's gonna happen. Envy, the last time that they tried to play out 2 onside, didn't exactly work out in their favor, but this is classic for FNS. Just playing around the cage over and short, just waiting for players to get spotted out, but nothing's gonna happen from it. So instead, Food in the backlines with a Rolling Thunder, gonna be able to discombobulate a whole lot of players, and that's gonna allow Crashies to make his way back on. Same thing with Food for a frag back. The 3v2 for Immortals gets completely broken apart by the point blank Rolling Thunder.
Beautiful delay as well from Food to sit back, fault lines expended, flashes, everything you want from your breach in the backside. He does a perfect job of delaying, and you talk about that Rolling Thunder. It catches so many players off guard, allows rotations for Crashes like you mentioned as well. And Envy, they do it perfectly there. Immortals walk into the trap once more, not prepared for the Rolling Thunder. And now, they're the ones, again, like I mentioned in the last one, they don't have the economy to sustain another buy. So once more, it's an eco, 3 shares, a Vandal, and a Stinger, and a fault line early for a control. Mame again taking the op peak, and Immortals, maybe learning their lesson, are going to default things out, but no control bought back, as Envy control most of this map at the moment.
Yeah, not a lot of action. Just honestly, just a shot in the dark in terms of that shock dart. Looking for a rotation back from the arch area of mid. But Immortals, they're trying to make this take. They don't even have Spike back. They could double back. That's a massive paranoia. But even then, Nature comes back with a shot from the Stinger. That alarm bot goes right in front of Crashies. He doesn't even want to trigger it or even take it out. Instead, he goes back. FNS still on side with a massive 2K. That recon dart is going to take out at least Chemicals in terms of information. But he's not done fragging. Able to get himself one more up in heaven. He's just distracting everyone as he makes his rotation back. The Spike well on its way to B.
Great call from Immortals, and a Hunter here as well to boot, and Chemicals is not looking just to get on the side. He's looking to close it out with a kill. Mame trying to catch Chemicals with a flank, but Chemicals is flanking the other way around. There's the peek, and there's the kill. Chemicals takes down the op. He won't even pick it up, I don't think. He's dancing around it.
Yes,
there it is. All right, Chemicals going for the op. First time here on the attack, and he is lights out right now. 15-4. Immortals. That is, I feel like, a testament to their coaching staff and talent scout. I mean, consistently Immortals have picked up great players, but damn, Chemical. Did not know you wanted to go that crazy.
Dude, almost literally, these guys, Nature and Chemicals. I mean, first of all, yo, shout out to our production. Kind of banning us with the replays. But Chemicals and Nature, I mean, what pickups. I mean, and it's not only just the pickups, right, but still able to confirm the fact that these two are willing to play different roles.
Yeah.
Still more than ready for it. So, I mean, again, well done by the talent scouts once again. They've done it the last few months, and now that they're back, they're on fire. And in this round, at least for Envy, in terms of the restricted economy, Immortals, they're already fragging out early with a kill from Chemicals and the Hunter's Fury snagging out one in Cat.
Yeah, super difficult if you're Envy to kind of battle against this firepower that Immortals are throwing at you. I mean, they're doing a really good job of at least controlling major extremities. Like here, Mame and Caboose both getting super aggressive. Now the bot drawn away. Here's a chance to get even more info. It's a 3v5, but you never count Envy out of these positions. Now they're pushed down towards the main. They'll have FNS playing a crucial position, and well, there's a start. Early kill and a chance now. If FNS can go huge, he's got a cam to get the info, and he's ready for the swing. He's got nothing for it. Only a dink onto nature. How big that kill would have been, but you again can't count these boys out. Caboose stops the spike, and now it's 2v3 with one flanking.
The only person that you can't can out at this point, it has to be Caboose, right? We talked about it yesterday. This guy, whenever he's alive, it almost seems like Envy always has a chance. Still, to his side, Mame, he's been his own stellar individual fragger, but oh my god, Paranoia is so massive. But JC Stanny, he was more than ready for it, ready for anyone to peek from that smoke, in just at the range that he was at. The Paranoia doesn't matter. He's able to get the 2K at the end of things, and Immortals has at least clutched out a tie scoreline by the end of this half, but they're looking for extra credit now, Sully.
Yeah, huge from JC Stani. I mean, Envy, again, knocking on the doorstep of a 2v5 retake. And they almost make it work as well, though. That's nothing to boast about, at least if you're Immortals. That got way too close. Yes, you get the tied scoreline guaranteed, but you're still a little bit rocky on the attack. You want more confidence. Take these 2 rounds and shut down Envy's confidence. We know these teams are momentum-based. We know how good they can get once they've got rounds under their belts. And Immortals, they're showing that already. Envy, you need to pick up these last 2. Most importantly, this one to set themselves up for the last round of this half. Is already Immortals. They've done this time and time again. Split themselves mid, get control to Cat. But there's at least an Alodrone to get that info back. And Caboose, he might have spotted at least shot up. He doesn't reveal himself as he backs away towards the catwalk stairs. It leaves now Immortals in a tricky predicament. Chemicals wins another fight off the op, of course.
You know, I always doubt just attacking ops, period. But Chemicals is making me doubt it, man. He's just always playing the right position. I mean, just that mid area in general is just prime real estate for that op in general. And especially because Envy, they haven't been able to fight it back with really their own op. It's almost unexpected. But what a lineup from the Paranoia. Oh, my. Shot Up's going to be able to get one back easy peasy. Still crashes in this position looking for a trade back. And how does Shot Up even win that one out? FNS with a massive task with 3 players in front of him. He's only able to get 1. Chemicals? There you go. Easy frag onto food. Not only that, but he had the Blade Storm ready for that round. He was ready for Envy to essentially have at least some answers for the Immortals team. But they waltzed their way onto that A site. And as we head into the last round of the half, Chemicals already has a 20 bomb.
This is huge for Chemicals, man. It's popping off. Shot Up. You talk about how he gets those kills. I don't know as well. I mean, Immortals, it's such a great combo from everybody. I mean, Shot Up again, I mentioned it earlier in the series, is that a lot of people have viewed Reyna as a very selfish agent. But, I mean, Shot Up, he uses it to benefit his entire team. Good with info. He's always so good with using the utility to its maximum output. And he does it there again. Huge stuff as Immortals. They're going to close this one out with an 8th here, but Envy, they've got ults. Whole lot of them. 4 charged up. This Hunter's Fury can be big. Early dash, and they're looking for info, but Mame shut down as soon as he touches the ground. What can you do here if you're Envy? You're being killed left, right, and center, and it's just one FNS. 1v5 clutch to close out the half, but Immortals, they have the free sight, and FNS with just a Spectre.
And that's it. Flawless round to finish off the half. And wow, I mean, Envy, they try to pull out a couple of curveballs in the round 2. 2-3 players over towards the A main area to potentially try to catch off Immortals on what has been a very scattered approach throughout the half, more defaulty. But some of the rounds, of course, they still maintain about 2 over towards that A area. So at least that win early on would have definitely helped them out. But nothing of the sort here, Sully. Instead, Envy, they get picked apart one by one. And Immortals, they take yet another one in convincing fashion. They go over towards the defensive half where they look to shut out this entire tournament.
5 rounds to go. Immortals, 2 frenzies again. Envy back with the 3 frenzies. Now they do sacrifice a little utility for food. Same thing with, I think, JC Stoney. No, never mind. He'll be able to get the paranoia. He's always been able to buy that one up. Same thing with the Duke. So utility awareness. Already Food fighting for early A main control. And there's even pressure, at least from Chemicals, towards mid. I mean, him and Shot Up are looking to explode here. I mean, there's minimal peaks. Lear goes out, and they've got control now. How does Mame try and combat against that? Because he has a classic at long range.
Careful.
It is so difficult in this position. So Immortals scouting out, getting so much early info. And Envy, they're not biting back just yet, but I think it's to their benefit. They don't go for these early peaks. You can retake these positions as Immortals get a little bit lackadaisical. Shot Up just going for the spots. Doesn't catch anybody off guard, and Envy start to approach this A site with 2 players ready to cut off rotations mid. But again, they can cancel whenever they want.
Gangsta, good lineup. That might be able to catch 1 or 2 from behind this, but they're not approaching. Good patience. Oh, okay, never mind.
Okay.
FNS goes for the wide swing. Chemicals is on the crossfire. He wasn't initially, but oh man, Gangsta needed that one onto Food. Great flash, but JC standing in such an inconspicuous location. Food's not going to be able to pick him out, but instead, the rest of Envy over towards the B side. There is only a singular man here, but his name is Nature, and he knows how to handle these scenarios. A couple of players making their way on. Even then, the Aldron takes him up. Shot Up gets one back, and there you go. The Shot Up Nature connection works out. And Immortals, they win out the all-important pistol round.
Great setup as well. Again, going back to Shot Up, he sets his teammate up, uses the dismiss, puts his body on the line to let Nature get the kill, and then they work together. You talk about connections, well, there's none better. Such a short period of time with each other, and they look like they've been together for months. Envy now, though. There is no full buyback. They don't have the credits to get it going. And now Immortals, they're all knocking on the door of first place here in the VCT Open qualifiers. Now Envy, though, with no buy, it's almost a gimme round. But again, I always say that, and then some crazy eco happens. But Chemicals instantly backs away. Doesn't want to take an early fight. Two smokes dropped in a one-way available, and Food already tagged up just a little bit. Chemicals overwhelmed by the flash, but Gangsta watching this cross.
Gangsta watching cross. Nature able to get 2. I mean, it's all just disastrous in a sense. Still 1 over towards Cat, hiding right beyond that smoke. And even an isolated player over on B2 that could actually be able to get himself a cheeky frag, but Shot Up is just running. Flawless round for Immortals off the second round conversion. Again, that's more massive than you would expect because now their economy stays stable and they don't need to reinvest.
Holding on to 4 Spectres, 1 Stinger. Everything they need, like you said, a bonus. But Envy, though, it's going to be difficult for them because, again, we've seen this situation, I feel like, a million times where you're broke, the opposing team's on 10. All it takes is 1 slip up to get that team to 12. So Immortals, this round closing, could get them the distance onto match series championship point. And they are getting aggressive. Look at this from Chemicals. Recon Bolt reveals with 2 kills swinging the way back. Simultaneously, Envy might have stayed alive, and they might have staved off 11 as Immortals pop off in a crucial round. It's Envy who take it back, though.
I mean, that's a good word for it. They essentially popped out of nowhere. Why would they even approach that A main area? There was almost no need for it, but what on earth is going on? Again, it has to be a little bit of a curse, right? JC Stanny almost certainly has a chance to get this last one, but now FNS down to 29 HP, going to be able to approach over towards the A side. You still have Nature on Cat with not a lot of util, and not only that, but his ulti is nowhere near finished. 1 on Cat about to go on the flank, but Nature is actually ready for it. Still has to look back. Nature tried to manage the 1v2, but he ends up getting flanked, and just like that, Envy, they have a 5th off of Immortals in their bonus.
Exactly what you need if you're Envy. You cannot lose a round like that. You keep 3 players alive, or apologies, 2 players alive. It's gonna hurt just a little bit. So remember this economic situation where Envy, they let 1 round slip through. If they can't get that economy going, they're on an eco when Immortals can get 12. So Immortals, this is their full buy. You said it's a bonus, 100%. Immortals now with the full buy. They need to go strong. They can get 11 here, and Envy the same thing. A very difficult position to be in if you're either team, because you know the pressure of these rounds coming up. And Immortals, they've been so good at trade potential, but Shot Up, it feels like he's going for a solo play. With Chemicals just around, though, they're going for a swing, and they look up for the Lear. And Chemicals looks down from the top of Cat and takes one life. Now Food with the trade and FNS revealing his position. Can Nature get this kill back though?
Certainly could, but the alarm about getting shut away. Nature is essentially on his lonesome again, but there you go. Lockdown is about to go online too if he really wants to hold it back.
Nature.
But he seriously needs some help. No, he doesn't need help at all. He's all solo. 3K from Nature. No, FNS in a 1v4. Gonna be able to get himself two. Still the rotation coming in fairly quickly. Spike is still down in short. JC standing in B main. And Immortals, they have themselves 11 as Envy, right as they had B site essentially for free. The man, the myth, hell, I'll say it, the kid, Nature, comes out with a 3K to really shut down Envy.
This dude is a freak of nature. You talked about the lockdown. I thought, okay, maybe he's going to pop it off now. But no, he just wants to pop off himself. 3 kills, absurd scenes in the back site. And then he gets the info where FNS is. I mean, the kid is insane right now. And Immortals, they've got a lockdown charged up. But Envy, 3 ults nearing completion. They're fighting for control for this A main ult orb. And it's that economic disaster pit. Mummy's got the knives online after getting the orb. But there's one player. Chemicals around, and they haven't cleared him out. Great shock dart to force them back and buy more time. And then we know how Envy likes to play. They're never committed to a site, so they instantly back away. And now Immortals, now they have this control, they're going to look elsewhere and be very, very wary.
Two players up in Cat at the moment with one still on site with the rolling thunder hitting at almost the optimal angle, but now in comes Chemicals, needs to really help things out, but Immortals are still isolated from sight. Shot up, could have had one, could have made things in their favor, but now Food still gets the kill back and the plant will go down with Crashy. Still 2 remaining now for Immortals. There's a flank going in as we speak in their spawn. So Gangsta has to go and he has to go now. 1 in Courtyard. The Killjoy ulti going in. FNS is going to be able to... No! What on earth was that from Gangsta? The lockdown will hit.
They're going to get caught.
And not only that, but Nature actually takes one down with a turret. And Crashies has no chance. Gangsta, what on earth was that? 12-5. And Immortals is on map, match, and championship point.
Yeah, lost for words, Gus.
Lost for words.
Lost for words. Gangsta, I don't understand this man's awareness. Gotta take a look at this replay. The fact that he's spinning, it's milliseconds for FNS. Milliseconds for FNS. And he goes down to a turret. Nature gets a kill on the Food with a turret.
That was so
such
funny.
an insane ending. And now it could be the ending for Envy. It hurts to say it's 12-5. Immortals with 7-match series championship points, Gus. And Envy have to battle 7 in a row to even send us to a possible OT. And even furthermore, then they've got to send us to a 5th. Gangsta early on. JC Stani using everything they've got at their disposal. And they might keep us going. Immortals. They almost kept us going, Envy, but they shut it down. It's so quick. And now Immortals, 2 kills away. Look at this theory. It's 1 kill. Can he get a second? They're not done yet, but it's just down to Crashies.
Here we go, Crashy, still holding things down, 30 HP. Nature gets the last kill, and Immortals upset on top of upset on top of upsets. Immortals, they are your Valorant Challengers Open #1 champions. What a story, what a path. I can't believe it myself. Immortals with essentially a brand new roster, bringing in the 2 young guns from the tier 2 scene, and they make it possible against some of NA's best. If that doesn't describe the North American scene for you, I don't know what does. It is as unpredictable as you could get. Congratulations, Immortals.
It's crazy. Immortals, 3-1 victory. The 3 maps that they played, they look good. 13-8 on Split, then 13-11 on Icebox. I think it was like 13-6, and then on the 3rd map of Bind, and then here, the same thing. I mean, Immortals, they do it again. Another upset. I feel like we can't even call this the upset anymore. with this roster, 2 new players, Gus, like we've been saying all event long, Immortals have looked phenomenal. Chemicals and Nature slot right in. Nature as well, taking the IGL role. You talked about agent switches. Nature was a raise back on a SOAR when he was with Chemicals as well, and he picks up the Sentinel, and he does it flawlessly. You have that fragging potential, that great Giga Brain on him as well. I mean, the man was popping off. Immortals, such a team effort, and again, congratulations to them. They looked amazing throughout the entire event.
And the map pool was in their favor if they had their old roster. Now they come into this with fresh minds, and what a way to finish things off. They just had to win on Bind of all maps. They just had to win on Ascent, maps that again they were statistically good on in the past. In this tournament, you had Ascent totally in their favor, still going into it, still with 5-0. But when you're talking about Bind, they barely played it. They didn't play it at all in this tournament, and they still won over Envy. Split, don't even remind me. They lost their singular split game, and they still won it. Immortals countering every odd possible to take this one, and pretty much every poll that we had going on in Twitch chat, almost completely, not completely, but always against Immortals. Why? Because these guys, it's just not expected that they take it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a fun weekend, but let's look through the bracket one last time as we really start to count things down on how things looked out. One striking thing, of course, at the very top, Carpe Noctem ended up taking down 100 Thieves, ended up going down to NRG, the top 8. This top 8, ladies and gentlemen, these are your teams for the closed qualifiers. This best of 5, yes, it was for seeding, but what a statement it was, and the entire bracket was stacked, Sully.
Yeah, I mean, these final 16 teams, we start all the way back when Carpe Noctem beat 100 Thieves, and then we move forward to the round of 16, Gen G against NRG, a banger of a matchup. Then to think that we go one game lower and everything becomes insane. Envy take down Equinox, LG 2-1 FaZe after their hot streak in the Winter Champs, Xset take down TSM to qualify for the closed qualifiers, then Immortal take down C9 Blue, who have been looking really, really good. And I think Immortals in general were the upset potential, not an unknown quantity to say the very least, and that is the minimal that I can say, because they upset everyone in this run. I mean, it's hard, it sucks to say because they have proven themselves, but before it was all upsets. And then you have Sentinels taking out BBG, Andbox taking out T1, another pretty major upset, but Andbox have been looking good all year long. And then Sentinels 2-0ing Andbox to make it against Immortals, and that was the game last night. It was an insane semifinals, and all it took was one more win, and Immortals, well, it was a hell of a story, and they are the champions here in the VCT Open qualifiers.
Yeah, you got to be proud of the Immortals, guys. I mean, you mentioned it before on that last map. What a job well done by these scouting talents over at Immortals. I mean, again and again and again, they keep picking up just the right players that can really lead this entire NA scene. I mean, before they had picked up, they picked up Dicey. I mean,
Asuna,
who is
Kohler.
that guy, right? Asuna. Who's Asuna? Well, now we know exactly who they are, and they were initially picked up by the Immortal Scouters. So again, just well done by these guys. And well, now Immortals, job is not done by any means. Just winning this doesn't mean that they have a path into Masters easily. No. They still have to go through not only this close qualifiers, but they have to go through another. So they have to keep on going with these upsets. And again, I just hope that they have enough tricks up their sleeve to really continue it. But ladies and gentlemen, of course, we do have to thank one event going on here for the entirety of the Nerd Street Gamers environment. We had Winter Championships just a couple of weeks ago, but now we have Summer Champs coming up in just a couple of months. You missed out on Nerd Street Gamers Winter Champs? I mean, kind of weird, right? But hey, Summer Champs is coming up at you this July, and you can qualify by registering for the next tournament at nerdstgamers.com/Valorant. Again, that's nerdstgamers.com/Valorant. You start your road to Summer Champs by registering for qualifiers starting in March, and it's the same path as it was over towards Winter Championships. Every month, NSG has Valorant tournaments going in, so if you're inspired by any of the play that happened over throughout this weekend, try your luck. You never know what type of upsets you can pull off, and potentially we could see you at yet another 25K tournament hosted by NSG. But Sully, of course, we do have a couple of things to go through before we end up our stream, and hey, if anything, Mike and Ike's as a little bit of a surprise because, again, we do have not only our play of the day, but an interview. You guys will see the interview in just a little bit, but let's look at our Mike and Ike sweet play of the day.
Ho, ho, ho. This one is an insane one. Way back on Icebox, right? Our second map, I think it was. This clutch by Shot Up. I mean, he pops off here. Not even just a clutch, the initial game, the initial fights that he ends up taking, Shot Up, a beast this entire series. Him, Nature, Chemicals, JC Stani, everyone seemed to pop up. I can't even forget Gangsta, dude. He had an insane game as the Soba. Save the best for last, if you will. Shot Up, though, he pops off here. It's an insane last-second clutch, and we talked about Giga Brain. This is insanely smart. The leer to go out, and then Shot Up catching Crash. He's completely blind. I mean, it really doesn't get better than that. Huge props to Shot Up for taking the Mike and Ike sweet play of the day. Let's get it back one last time. Literally milliseconds. You saw it. He gets the kill, Crashies, literally within milliseconds. Now, we give the sweet play of the day to Shot Up, and we also got to give him the winner interview.
Winner interview was Shot Up. Welcome on in, Andrew, aka Shot Up. What's going on, dude? How are you feeling after taking up this championship?
What's going on, guys? We're feeling really good, but I'm not gonna lie. I think we kind of expected this, and we were really tilted. Every list we saw, like on Twitter, that's like listing, tier list, whatever, team tier list. We're always like at the bottom of every team that you could possibly name, and it's just so tilting because from our perspective, we're winning all these scrims against so many good teams, and then like I look at my Twitter feed and I'm like below every team that exists, and it's just like really annoying, but not surprised.
It's not fair.
Not at all. I mean, you talk about, you just mentioned winning all these scrims. How long have you had with Nature and Chemicals? It feels like Immortals has been this revolving door, and your talent has always been able to pick up really good players. So I can't imagine slotting them in was too hard, but how long did you have to prep for VCT?
It's probably been about 3 weeks now that we've kind of known what our roster is. So I think it's more than enough time. I think the whole like, oh, you're playing with a new fifth, new fourth thing is kind of overblown, unless you're replacing like a really vital piece of the team. I think it's usually overblown, but I think we had more than enough time.
No, it makes sense because again, you guys, Sully mentioned it before, but you guys still had that experience in the past, but we didn't actually know that it was 3 weeks, right? So yeah, no, like you said, it is more than enough time, but still you guys ended up exploding in this tournament and you guys had a whole lot of upsets. Although, yeah, you guys are a little bit underrated. What is your message really going forward for the team now that you guys have the wins that really could be considered statements?
Message going forward, I mean, I think we're going to take it all. Like, I don't want to be that guy that's like, oh yeah, man, we're going to win this shit easy, and then like lose first round to whoever we're facing. But historically, like what we've seen in scrims and in this qualifier, I think that kind of shows where we're at right now. And hopefully what I said doesn't happen, but I'm really confident that it won't.
Yeah. You guys looked really good throughout the entire qualifiers. Now, just to jump back against Sentinels, kind of what was the process? Because I feel like that was the biggest game for you guys. Obviously, you mentioned that you see the bracket, you're like, okay, we got this. But then against Sentinels, I think for a lot of people, that was a crazy game from you individually and the team as a whole. So against Sentinels, who else would you say is the biggest threat in this next close qualifier phase?
Like player or like team?
Team, a player, team, whoever you want to call out for the next best of 3 series.
The hardest opponent, probably it. I would have to say Sentinels, but I really don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't even know who's in and who's out because I don't really watch. I'm gonna be honest. I know that there's a lot of teams that are out that maybe people didn't expect. I'll definitely say Sentinels because honestly, the key to winning and the reason that I think that the game is inconsistent, or teams are inconsistent, like tier 2 teams are beating tier 1 teams, isn't because like the skill ceiling is too low or anything like that. It's just that the players are really inconsistent. Like I know I feel really inconsistent. I know Chemicals and everyone on the team, Nature, none of us feel like we're always peaking, and I don't think anyone ever does. Like I know when I'm playing against Sentinels and they're like on their game, when I'm peaking, I am instantly dead. I just can't respond, and that's not something that was happening in our series. And I think that's why we're seeing like these upsets that people don't expect. It's really that like nobody is ever always on their A game, and that's why we're seeing these things.
Interesting. All right, Shut Up. I appreciate you, man. I mean, this is a huge return to form for you guys because if I'm not mistaken, I think the last tournament that you guys played under Immortals was back in First Strike.
Yeah, we waited a really long time because we were doing a lot of trials. We trialed a lot of people to get this roster.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think it makes sense that you guys were like lower on tier list because like nobody saw you guys, but no,
Surprise.
proud of you guys. Great job. I mean, if you have any shout outs, if you have any really any thanks to anyone, you can do that now, but otherwise, shout out. Thank you so much for being around.
Yeah, obviously shout out to Immortals for sponsoring us and sponsoring me. I'll be honest, like 4 months ago before I was signed, I like literally quit Valorant just because like nobody like wanted to give me a tryout because I was tier 2. I played like for like 2 months. I think I had good stats, but I really want to shout out Immortals because I was like sitting on a toilet, literally. I'd already quit Valorant. I was like on Reddit or something on my phone. And I get a Snapchat from Neptune, who was on the team at the time. He's like, yo, bro, you want to play for Immortals? I was just like, wait, what? How are you going to snap me that? How do you snap me that?
That's so casual.
Yeah, other than that, obviously shout out to Chemicals because that dude is a god when he's confident. But yeah, just those two.
All right. Well, there you go. Hey, shut up. Glad you're still in the scene because boy, we love watching you, dude. I love watching your streams, love watching you on the server, and I hope to see you very soon during close qualifiers.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
All right, have a good one. Thank you so much, Shot Up. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys very much for watching this entire weekend of open qualifier action, but there are 2 more open qualifiers, and the next one is also being hosted by Nerd Straight Gamers. If you guys want to get in on the action and you guys want to compete just like Shot Up did with the boys of Immortals, you guys can go register over at events.nerdstgamers.com. Again, that is events.nerdstgamers.com to sign up for qualifier number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for us this weekend. You probably saw a whole lot of myself, Bob Ross, and my boy Rich Bryan here, but we wanted to personally say thank you guys very much for watching. And I mean, if anything, close qualifiers is going to be absolutely insane. You guys do not want to miss it. And if anything, Sully, any last words?
Nothing else to say. It's been a jam action-packed week in the side of Valorant. Again, thank you guys so much for having us, Nerd Street Gamers. And you guys can follow us on Twitter at SillyCast, at @UpMine_. But for now, we hope to see you guys during the closed qualifiers in just a week. But this is goodbye for now. See you soon on a Twitch channel near you.